Hi. I'm 1 for 2. I'm hoping for more. Proposal Q is on page 32 of the bylaws report, Codify Protection of Statement of Principles. Currently, to amend the Statement of Principles, it requires a 7/8 vote of registered delegates at the convention. The provision that sets that requirement is Article 17, Section 2, which itself does not require 7/8 vote to amend. This proposal would introduce that requirement for that provision as well as not affect the overall requirement to change the Statement of Principles. So what this would mean that it is possible now that you could amend the 7/8 requirement, and indeed that was a proposal submitted in committee but not forwarded to you to the floor. So what this would change is, in order to lower the threshold from 7/8, you would need 7/8 to do that. It was adopted 5-2 in committee and would take effect immediately. Oh, and if we could request the AV to put the screen, put Proposal Q on the screen. It's on page 32.
Microphone 2. Do you rise to speak in favor or against?
In favor.
Is there anyone wishing to speak against?
Yes.
Microphone 3. He's farther up than you, Tom. Microphone 3.
I don't mind if he speaks first.
I'm going to recognize you anyways, Aaron.
That's fine. Thank you.
Aaron Starr from California, right?
Yes. Thank you. So I've always had a problem with this area of our bylaws because think about it this way. We have roughly 800, just to keep the math simple, we have 800 registered delegates right now. To make any change at all requires 700 people to vote in favor. If you look around, now here's the problem with that, folks. The problem is if you look around, you don't have 700 people in the room. It should never be the situation where it takes more than 100% of the people to change anything, even if it's just a stylistic change. I know many years ago, back in the 90s, we tried to eliminate the wording cult from the Statement of Principles. There were people that had a problem with that. They thought that it made us sound like a cult ourselves, and we came very close to changing that on a number of occasions, but we could never get enough people in the room to do that, even though that was a very popular proposal to do so. Now, if you had 7/8 of people present, I can see that, or even 5/6. I mean, think about it this way. If you had 800 people registered, but you only had 600 people in the room, ask yourself, what number of people would be acceptable to you to make any sort of change? Now, to me, you can argue over what the number ought to be. I think it should be at least 500 out of 600. It should be really, really high. But right now, you have 600 people in the room. You need 700 votes to make a change. So anybody that's outside the room is treated as if they're a no. Anybody who doesn't vote at all, who's abstaining, is treated as a no. You never want to lock yourself into something where you can never, ever, 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 ever change it. And that's what we have today. So, you know, you might as well make it 100%. Why not make it 100% instead of 7/8? Because that's really where you're at anyway. Because you cannot effectively change it. It's just an impossibility. No one's ever been able to do it. They've tried it for 30 years. It's never been done. It can never be done. So I would suggest don't lock it down even further where it's just impossible beyond impossible.
Point of inquiry?
Microphone 2 for a point of inquiry.
I would like Mr. Starr to explain then why they object to the change of numbers rather than making it registered delegates as opposed to people on the floor and coming up with a number.
No, that's in the nature of debate. That's not actually a point of information. I'm sorry. You can go ask him. He's over there. Microphone 2.
Thank you. Pat Dixon from Texas. I speak in favor of the proposal, and I understand the arguments by Aaron because I've actually made efforts to change a particular word in the Statement of Principle, which is cult. I don't like that word. But if I'm asked, should we do it the easy way, find some end run, I disagree. Our principles matter most. So the fact that we have 7/8 to change our Statement of Principles makes us unique. It's one of the reasons I love this party. That's what that's what matters most. It is not an impossibility. Yes, I realize it's hard. I've tried. But it is not an impossibility. And if we come to this convention in 2 years in Austin and say we want to change that word and you get 700 people, it'll be more than that, then that's how it should pass.
I'm going to recognize microphone 2 again. I believe Mr. Hale wishes to speak in opposition.
Yes, speaking in opposition, I'm Tom Hale from North Carolina. And while I have sympathy for Mr. Starr's objections, my objection is far simpler and strategic. This amendment, as given, is poor English. It uses the conjunction or with one side having a not in it. It should say, if they want to be clear, it should say neither Article 3 nor this section shall be amended. As it's stated, it's unclear, the logic is poor. I urge you to vote it down in order to allow amendments to be made to it.
Microphone number 1.
I thank you very much. It's Karen Ann Harlos from Colorado. I speak very strongly in favor of this proposal. I'm one of the people who was very much in favor of it, and I actually disagree that it doesn't now have the 7 days. I don't think there's anyone in this room who doubts that was the intent when this was written, that everything was supposed to be protected by 7 days. And what they weren't able to anticipate was people looking for loopholes and looking for backdoors, just because they weren't as parliamentary sophisticated as we are today with the games that we play with our principles. It is completely against the intent of our founders, and all of us joined this party knowing exactly what that said. I did not join this party and give hundreds of hours to this party and thousands of dollars to this party only to have people try to find a back door in it. To me, that is fraud and trying to find a loophole. Whoever is opposed to it, join this party with that same document in place too. Now, one other thing I'd like to close with here, well, actually 2. It's not impossible. Let me tell you something. If I wanted to do it, I'd get it done. It ain't impossible. One last thing. I'd like to add one last thing that is from our bylaws. The Statement of Principles affirms that philosophy upon which the LP is founded, by which it shall be sustained, and through which liberty shall prevail. The enduring importance of the Statement of Principles requires that it be amended only by a 7/8 vote of all registered delegates at convention. There is no one who could read that honestly to say that they meant to put a frickin' back door in the back there. Let's close that to stop these stupid games.
If you're at a microphone wishing to speak in opposition, please raise your hand so I can see you. Microphone 3.
Mr. Chairman, this is Guy McLendon. Since 1980, I have had a copy of the Statement of Principles on the wall in my home. So I truly love the Statement of Principles as it is. However, that word registered truly does mean it's numerically not possible to make a change. Now, the founders of our nation talked about the dead hand of the past. I do not believe that this convention should tie the hands of every future LP convention. I urge you to vote no, to vote this down so that we can remove that one word, registered, so that it does indeed take 7/8 of the seated delegates in order to make a change.
Microphone 2.
Christopher Gill, Ohio. I called a question.
Is there any objection to closing debate?
Objection.
All in favor of closing debate, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Nay. We'll have no further debate. All in favor of the proposal, please stand up. You may sit down. All opposed, please stand up. Just about 2/3. The motion passes.